Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to another week of Tech Talk. This week has flown by. I feel like it's gone so quickly that we actually lost Mike along the way. Don't know where he is. We've got Hayden here today, and Brando, take it away.
Thank you, Milan. As you can see, we don't have Mikey Mike. Who knows where he's gone? So I will do my best to reenact his intros. But yes, we got Saint Hayden on board with us today, and I believe we're going to be asking him some FAQs, some frequently asked questions of the workshop. So who wants to kick it off for us?
Me, pick me.
Joshy.
I got a question. Where's Mike? Where's Mike?
The tracker hasn't gone off yet.
I ate him. He's gone. There can only be one in Victoria now.
I knew that you wouldn't be able to answer that one. So my second question is, Mr. Hayden, I've got my machine on site and I've just started on a new job, and man, for the life of me, I can't get the thing to run straight. It's pulling all over the place. What's the most likely causes of a 680 or an 820 that's just pulling all over the place? I can't really get it up and running. This thing's a nightmare.
Just got to get a better groove. Get into a different groove. No. Look, there's a few things that could cause that. First question I'd say is how long since it was serviced? That would be a good question to start with. You know, what heads are you running? What concrete are you on? Are you on a generator? Variables are everywhere on this one, Josh. But look, assuming it's been serviced recently, so everything we think is good, you really need to start looking at things like what tooling you're using and try and rule out anything that's non-mechanical would be the first thing you'd need to do. Wetting down the concrete if you're not already doing that. Things along that line, just to really point it back to the machine. But once you get into the machine side of it, if something's not sort of gripping on, or getting into its groove, I mean, look, power can certainly cause that. If you've got bad power, any sort, it will make the machine either try and pull more current, or there's not enough current for the machine to pull. So we'd be checking our DC link voltage at that point to see what kind of power we've got. Before you even start pulling covers off or anything like that, check the power first time always. After that, I guess, we've ruled out diamond tooling, we've ruled out our power. Power's all good. We can start looking at mechanical things. So flip the machine back and, take the plates off, give it a run, see if everything runs smooth at that point. From there, if everything underneath is running smooth, if you've got enough tools to do a belt tension check, give the heads a bit of a pull against each other and make sure that they're not slipping, just in case something in there is, come adrift. Yeah, from there, it's, planetary issues can cause it. Gearboxes, broken gears and gearboxes slipping can make a machine throw around. But look, most commonly, it usually ends up being power, a head that's out of balance, a tool that's different height. It's usually very simple things causing it at the end of the day. So there's not a lot of mysteries in these machines, much to what a lot of people think there is. But yeah, there's very easy ways to rule some of these things out.
But Hayden, I'm plugged into three-phase power. I've got a good lead. It's a 32 amp plug. Tell me more about what could possibly ring wrong with my power. I mean, it's in the plug. It's on the grid. There's power. Like my light's coming on.
I mean, I've got a 5G phone. It doesn't mean I'm going to receive the 5G that well. Look, it's exactly right, Tim. You can have great leads. Again, check all your connections, things like that. If you're off a generator, could be that the generator itself just isn't supplying enough when it needs it. But even just one bad phase on a lead can cause a lot of problems. And that can be as simple as a slightly burnt plug. Like, it doesn't have to be anything major. It's not big holes or cables cut in half. Just bad connections can cause it, which again, coming into summer, you've always got this extra heat going on. Your leads are sitting on a concrete slab in the middle of the day, sun's out, and everything is getting hot in there. So if you've got a slightly bad connection, it's going to arc and burn and things like that. So yeah, good connections, good plugs on leads is really what you want to check. I don't know if that answers the question for you, Tim, but
I think you've done a fair bit of discussion in past Tech Talks on power and what makes good power. So I would encourage our listeners to look back into some of those previous talks on understanding power and power supply to machines. And, just because the machine was working fantastic yesterday, you've changed site. Like you said, it's a new job. Maybe yesterday was on mains power, today's in a generator, or vice versa. Just because it was working well yesterday somewhere else doesn't mean necessarily everything's A-OK for today. In fact, if it's not, it's probably indicating There's a really simple, like you said, there's no magic, there's no secrets to this stuff. There's probably a really simple reason as to why. It's just a matter of identifying and isolating what that is and fixing it.
And I've got a question for you.
Yeah.
One that comes up in conversation is motor over temp error code. What does that mean? Does that mean the fan on top of the motor is not spinning anymore and it's not cooling it? Do I need to get a watering can and just cool it off a little bit? What's going on here?
Especially if you're getting that frequently and you're grinding next to a swimming pool, just give it a dunk for 5 minutes and it fixes everything.
That's easy.
No,
motor over.
Then it becomes motor over the edge.
No, it's a good one, Milan. It is a frequent question that we get. Motor over temp. Now, don't confuse this. There's motor over temp and unit over temp. Two very different issues. Okay, but motor over temp is a common one. People say to me, look, I'm getting motor over temp, but I can touch the motor. It's not that warm. It's like, yep, I completely understand that. The reason behind that is there's no actual sensor in the motor telling the computer that it's hot. It's all a theoretical math calculation done within the drive. So it basically has a certain amount of time that it will run at a certain speed, certain amount of amps, and then it calculates and says, if we keep going like this, we could damage the motor, so we better stop. As soon as you turn it off, that timer that it's going off, switch it back on, that restarts. So you don't have to wait 20 minutes for it to cool down or anything like that. It's just bang, straight up and go again. And you've got, if you don't change anything on your dials, you'll get another, 10 minutes, I think from memory what it is, of running, and it's going to do the same thing. So if you find you're getting it continuously, change something up on your speeds or your tooling, wet the floor, do something different, because clearly you're in that range of speed and current draw that it's saying is too high or going to start risking damaging the motor. Generally speaking, I don't think I've ever seen a motor that's been damaged by doing that unless they did it for 4 days straight of just continually resetting. Right, so by doing it on and on, you can do some damage, but generally speaking, you're not going to. The other one is unit over temp. That is actually the drive inside the cabinet. That is having an over temp fault, which is usually related to the fan on top of the drive not working. So, or a very hot day, the cabinet's in the sun, it's getting 60, 70 degrees inside the cabinet. This motor, this frequency inverter is trying to do its thing, creating a lot of heat with all the current going through it, and the inside temperature in there heats up, and then you get this fault. So, two very different faults, but common as well.
Hayden, correct me if I'm wrong, but it can also be related to an issue with the temperature sensor internally in the drive.
Correct.
So there's actually nothing wrong with the ambient conditions. There's just from time, expansion, contraction, vibration. Sometimes the contact points of the temperatures, the internal temperature sensor on the frequency inverter is just not making a good connection anymore with the heat sinks or wherever it's getting its information from. So it's gone a bit haywire as far as its ability to measure the temperature, and it's thinking everything's a lot hotter than what it is. Yet really it's all okay. How do we fix that? Because that's not something
you book it in for a service. Look, dust, again, we know dust is not a friend of anything concrete grinding related, wear and tear wise. Dust inside the cabinets can build up on these contact points Tim's talking about. Concrete is a good heat, not conductor, but it it holds it. So inside that drive there are you can actually not remove them, but you can clean the contact points. That's something that when we do a service on a machine, they all get done on both drives. So another reason why it's important to get your machine serviced fairly regularly.
Well, what a nice segue for my question then. Because my question is to you, H. What is it actually involved in a service, and what am I paying for? Because why is it not like fixed price when I'm booking my machine in for a service? What kind of variables am I looking at?
Well, there's quite a few variables, Brandon. When you bring it in for a service, more than happy just to replace all the parts, whether they need it or not. Can certainly do a fixed price on that for you. But most of the time, there's basic things we will do. As we said, we'll do temperature sensors in the drives. We'll check all the electrical on the machine, check switches, all your power incoming. Out to the motors, a lot of cleaning gets done on the machines during the service. But every machine's going to need something different. So one machine might need chainring done, another one doesn't. One might need demo heads rebuilt, another one doesn't. There's no direct individual parts that you could say, these only need replacing in a service. Every machine is going to have something else that's built into, that's there. So, I mean, you can go down the route of, your $99 service, but I could almost guarantee you it's never going to be $99 on these machines because there's always something else that's going to need to be done to keep it running at its peak. Whether it's minor, it might just be a case of, the sprocket is gone, needs a clean out, some V-seals, and everything else checked out okay. That's a fantastic scenario. We might get to the point that demo heads need replacing. You might have spring heads, and we tell you to put the demo heads on because we want you to grind better with these. Again, seeing other tech talk we've done recently on that. So yeah, Brendan, there's not. We do some set price servicing. I know on the vacuums we have some set price stuff because there are generally parts that we know every time we're going to replace religiously on it because we know it needs to get done from a dust management point of view. But even on a vacuum, you still have power leads that might need doing. We're not going to just throw plugs on every service if they don't need to be. So again, a lot of it's just assessment, which is why we don't do a lot of really fixed price stuff because not everyone's machine is going to need it. Again, wet grinding versus non-wet grinding, there's a whole lot of differences around what they're going to need.
I guess part of the thing to this conversation too is a good question, Brando, is where's the expectation coming from that this whole fixed price servicing thing? And I guess a lot of people, when they think about servicing, the closest thing they can relate it to is their car. Cars, generally speaking, are driven in the same way in similar conditions all the time, and therefore it's very easy to say, or easier to say, X amount of kilometres for the oil or the belt or whatever. Like Hayden just said, these machines they are in different environments doing completely different applications with different operators on a daily basis. Sometimes heavy, hard work, demolition grinding. Sometimes they can be going for days and weeks and months just doing polishing. And, that all has completely different implications on the wear and tear and the loads and the strains that the machine is subject to. And that's why it's just not as simple as the car scenario where you can say, well, it's my 15,000 K or my 20,000 K or whatever, and it's time to do these 3 parts and check these 20 other items. It's a case-by-case basis. Like Hayden said, we get machines come in that are just got an inch of slurry built on the bottom of them that don't even make it possible to do a simple inspection until that's all chiseled away and cleaned off. So it is a really as needs case-by-case basis. But it enables a tailored solution as well. And that's the good part of it. It means that there is going to be proper full consideration because we know that these things are going out into so many different environments and applications. We can't just have a one-size-fits-all type approach to the way we look and diagnose and evaluate them.
Oh, thanks for that, fellas.
Has anyone else lost Milan? I can't see him.
I can't see him.
I'm here.
He's out with Mike.
Can't see me? I don't know. The week is going so fast, I'm dropping off too. So
Reverse flash.
What
He's
about
back.
there we go.
What did you change?
I had to turn it off and turn it back on, the camera. So the usual fix.
Classic service technique.
You might fix a lot of these machine problems too. Turn it off, turn it on. It probably was over 10. Yeah.
So where is Mike really? Where is he really?
Who's Mike really?
I heard it's his birthday this weekend and he wanted a few days off. So everybody watching, message Mike on Instagram or however you reach out to Mike. Wish him a happy birthday. I'm sure he'll love it.
Have we ever sung Happy Birthday on a Tech Talk before?
And we never will.
Yeah, that's probably a good reason.
There's a reason, yeah.
People already hate us as it is. Come on. Let's not start singing next.
Yeah.
Well, happy birthday, Mike. And he's gone to such efforts to avoid his birthday. I think it would only be appropriate if everyone just sent him a message and said, happy birthday, Mike. I'm strangely thirsty.
It's that time.
Think so. What time is that, Milan?
It's time to join Mike for his birthday celebrations. We're off to have a beer.
Absolutely. Have a great weekend, everyone.
Have a good one, guys.
See you, fellas.
See you guys.
The meeting warning. That's the lie.
That's all the credit we have left.
Let's do it. Let's go.
Let's put more money into this thing.